You can't see any of that shit.
But you can see it on Patreon.
But you can see it on Patreon.
There you go.
If you want to try and pause the video and look at it, that's cool, but it's only the top 12. That's all we're going to discuss today. Are we starting with Dynasty or seasonal?
Let's go seasonal first.
Seasonal. Number 1, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray for seasonal.
I got Patrick, but Kyler's right behind him.
I have Mahomes right behind him. They're the only two in my tier, my top tier. Those are people I would consider taking second round. I don't take quarterbacks the first round. So my highest...
I wouldn't take him second.
You know, people take Pat Mahomes at the end of the first round. I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But these two guys are that top tier. I think they're pretty standalone. Kyler Murray... Pat Mahomes is going to have tons of touchdowns. Kyler Murray's going to run all over the fucking place.
I think Josh Allen is close.
For seasonal, I have Josh Allen 5th.
I have him 3rd.
I have him 5th, and I think that's high.
You think that's high?
He extended last year. Okay. Last year. So he's going to have a regression.
Well,
I just don't know how far down it's going to be. And I'm looking at some of the people. I like Kyler Murray better. I like Pat Mahomes better. Number 3rd, I have Matt Stafford. I think Matt Stafford's better in general.
I have Stafford at 4th. But how far do you think Josh Allen falls? Because what about the year before that? Was that a fluke?
I think I have...
He finished 6th that year.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily...
He didn't have Diggs.
I think he's going to have regression from last year. He overachieved. The year before that was kind of a funny year, okay? There wasn't much competition. They had one of the easiest schedules. The Jets were atrocious.
Still.
They played them twice a year and padded all their numbers. So, I don't know. I have him, I think he's fair at 5. I have him above Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott was breaking records. If he would have played the whole season last year, he'd be in the record books for yards.
If he'd continued, yeah.
For yards and average.
Probably. But I have him down at 9.
Dak Prescott?
I have Dak, yeah. I don't want to put him that high. I think that offense is going to be good, but I want to see at least 1 year from him coming back from that injury before I put him up there.
So, on my tier, I have really concerns. I wanted to break this up into 2 tiers, and I can't. And I'm going to try to explain why. Stafford with the Rams. I think he can have success. I think he's a good quarterback. But we haven't seen it. So there's question there. Matt Ryan. We all know he's good. He's got a lot of weapons. He's getting older. He got a bad offensive line. I think they're going to have a worse run game. They have no run game. I think they have a worse defense. There's questions there. He might throw a lot of picks. He might get sacked. He might get hurt. There's some questions there. I don't think Matt Ryan's the vintage Matt Ryan he was 2 years ago. And he didn't do great last year.
No.
Then you have Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen can play better than both of them. But I think he's going to regress. I don't know how far. There's questions. Then you have Dak Prescott. Okay, that team has questions. Do they still run the ball with Zeke?
Yeah.
The same?
I think they're going to use him a little bit more to help Dak out.
They used him a lot last year, and he wasn't happy about it. No. So I don't know if they rely on him as much as they did last year.
Maybe early on.
Do you think Dak Prescott is okay with his leg being fucking backwards and just has no mental problem if a guy's rushing in his face?
That's why I want to wait a year.
Their offensive line is not good.
It's deteriorating.
It's deteriorated. Yeah. It's bad. So what I'm saying is there's questions. Then you have Russell Wilson. I like Russell Wilson. He's a runner. He struggled a little bit last year. They're going to struggle more this year. They have a really tough schedule. And I don't know how well he's going to come back from it.
I think he's the type of player that doesn't matter what type of schedule he has, he'll do just fine.
Their offensive line
he's
is the
pretty
worst in the
consistent. It hasn't been great in years past, and he's been consistent pretty much. He's finished 5th last year, 4th the year before that, and 9th the year before that.
Yeah, well.
And he has better weapons now, I think.
Now, it did come out after I did this that he apparently never said he wanted to be traded.
Yeah.
I don't know if I truly believe that, but I think he's gonna regress because the line is worse. I think their running attack is gonna be worse. I think there's more pressure on him, and he's gonna get people know
I think
he's
the
gonna have
pressure
to
on
pass.
him is fine because he wants to pass. He wants to throw the ball. And
I know.
he can.
I know. That's why I have him in this tier. I think any one of these quarterbacks can either have a great season or they couldn't. I think there's question marks here. But I think they all could be elite. They could all be top 2. I think potentially.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, and the last guy I have in here is Aaron Rodgers. I have him last because I don't know if he even plays.
I didn't rank him at all because I'm not sure if he does play. I don't think he does because I'm not sure if the Packers get rid of him.
I think he'll play. And if he does, he's in this category of potentially top tier, but with a giant question mark.
He should be top 5, close to it.
I would definitely draft anybody in the second tier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't typically draft. I either draft a quarterback or I don't. A lot of leagues, I won't even draft a quarterback. Because it's not worth the pick.
Yeah.
Unless it's super late. These guys I would still take a shot on relatively around their ADP. It's just there is a question mark. From Stafford to Rodgers. That's pretty much my top 8. The only reason why Kyler Murray and Pat Mahomes is 1 and 2 is because not only are they the best, there's no question mark there. Kyler Murray has a good offense. He has a good line. They have a lot going for him. Pat Mahomes, same thing. All these other guys, there is at least one question mark.
I mean, I think Matthew Stafford is going to be fine, but I do have Lamar Jackson up there at 6 in the second tier. I think just with his ability with running the ball, I think he'll be able to get enough with the bonus of passing.
Maybe. I have Lamar Jackson outside of my top 12.
Top 12? Where do you have him?
I have him 13th.
Okay.
So I'm not saying he's completely out of the picture, but they have a hard schedule, and he can't throw the ball. Yeah, he can run.
They did get him some more weapons, but, I mean, J.K. Dobbins, that should be a better running attack, I think, with him and Lamar.
Right. My third tier is the last tier in which I would draft. If you don't get any of these guys, I would maybe take a shot on the next tier, but that's super late in the draft. But number 9, I have Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick 9.
Ryan Fitzpatrick 9.
So he's going off this year then.
First of all, he usually does.
If he's 9, then Washington's got to be in the playoffs.
I think they will. I think Washington.
They got to beat out Dallas.
I think Washington could have been good last year. They just needed a quarterback.
They should have been, yeah.
They have a good running game.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin has been doing well with nobody throwing him the ball and him just. I think now that they have a competent quarterback, I think that offense is good. And we know what their defense can do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Washington does go to the playoffs. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick can actually have another monster year, but I think this is probably his best offensive weaponed team he's been on in his entire career.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you can argue the Dolphins were. It was close. But I think
this would be better. Especially with the running attack.
I think Gibson's better.
Yeah, Gibson's better than.
I think McLaurin's better than anyone they had on their team. And I think that offensive line is just as good. It's just as good.
Maybe.
They might be older, but it's just as good. So, number 10. I have Burrow.
I have Burrow down at 17.
Burrow showed he could do it.
He did show he could do it, but he got torn apart rookie year. That can mess with you a little.
It can. But they have a good running back where he can get comfortable just handing the ball off.
You just called Joe Mixon a good running back?
We'll get to that later.
All right.
He's got some of the best goddamn weapons in the NFL.
He does have some of the best weapons, but that line is kind of starting to deteriorate. They already lost one guy to injury this year with Hakeem Adeniji, I believe his name is, tackle.
Yeah, and I understand, but if as long as his head's right, his injury was just as bad as Dak Prescott's.
Yeah, but Prescott's a veteran.
Yeah, as long as his head's right. I think Joe Burrow, I would rank...
It helps that they have Chase,
honestly,
I think.
I would rank Joe Burrow higher than Dak Prescott if he didn't backwards his leg.
Yeah, I think that
I think
changes
that's
a
the
lot.
only reason why he's this far. Because I think, Jamar Chase, I think he's second on that team.
Maybe the first year, but he will be the one.
My point is, they're good. They have weapons.
Options. Yeah,
they have a lot of options, and he's a good quarterback. I mean, I understand it was his rookie year, but he has shown that he can read a defense and he can deliver a ball, and he's really good. Right underneath him at 11, I have Big Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. I don't think he'll finish that.
Let
high.
me sell you on Big Ben.
All right.
Okay, they got a really good tight end in the draft, Pat Fairmouth. Okay, they got a really good running back in the draft, in Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, James Washington is one of the best slots in the game. Same thing with Juju Smith. They got both of them. They got Deontay. They got Chase Claypool. They have a bunch of weapons. He is a veteran quarterback.
Old veteran.
There's a reason they went damn near undefeated all year. Now, I understand they didn't look pretty, but their team this year
It wasn't Ben.
Their team this year is better than it was last year. They only have one question mark, and that's the offensive line. It is bad.
It is bad.
It is extremely bad. But you couple that with Big Ben showed last year that he doesn't want to throw it deep anymore. I don't think he can.
He can't.
I think he's too old.
Yeah. He's
But
losing
Juju-
his step.
Juju is a damn good slot receiver. James Washington is a damn good slot receiver.
They keep saying they want to put Juju out wide, but they're not going to do that.
Chase Claypool is almost 7 foot tall.
You're going to take him off the field?
I think he has the ability to make those dink and dunk passes. I think he's a veteran enough to where he can make that transition of that style. I think the Steelers will be just fine. They're not going to be super explosive, but I think Ben Roethlisberger has so many weapons that you have a 7 foot tall guy standing there. Worst case scenario, you just throw it really high. The guy will go up and get it.
I think he needs all those weapons with a good line just to be good. I think he's losing a step. I think they want to lean on Najee more. They said they want to get back to that ground and pound run game.
Yeah, it'll take pressure off.
Yeah, and I mean they'll have the options to go out wide and throw it, but I don't see him finishing this high. I'm not even sure if he finishes the year.
They don't have the offensive line to push near the goal line. So Najee might not have a lot of touchdowns. I think he'll have good yards. I think he'll have a decent amount of catches.
He should definitely have some good catches.
But I don't know if his touchdowns are going to be there. But I think Big Ben could throw 50 touchdowns this year.
I don't see that.
I do. I don't think he'll have.
I mean, if he does throw that, he'd probably be higher.
I don't think he has near the yards. He doesn't have near the yards as a lot of these other quarterbacks. Like Pat Mahomes is probably have 2,000 more yards than him with
an
50
extra
touchdown
and the rushing yards.
Yeah. So that's why he's high, but he's low. He's 11th. He's starting on a fantasy team, or he should be, in my opinion.
I don't know if I would start him.
But he's not going to win you a league.
I mean, I have him at 18.
12, I have Tom Brady.
I have him at 7.
Well, you're going to have to sell me on that because Tom Brady had his best fantasy year ever last year, but he still wasn't good until when?
The playoffs.
But
he's had a good fantasy season, though.
That's what he does.
And he's going to have a better one this year because they brought the pieces back. He's basically building that system.
Mark my words. Tom Brady will
He finished 7th last year. 7th this year. You can't do it again at the minimum.
First of all, he's finished 7th last year, which is his all-time best.
Yeah. I think he has
30
room
years
to
of
grow.
elite.
I think 7 could be higher.
No, he's going to be average most of the season like he has been for the last 30 years.
He'll have a couple down games, but I think he'll be fairly consistent.
Their style, his style, he has now brought to that team is play mediocre football until later in the season. Don't do anything good. Don't do anything funny.
Mediocre, if it's bad or good football, he's going to get the points. And he's going to be that high.
I have him 12th because you want him to start. He's probably going to be consistent. But I don't think
he'll be consistent.
He's not going to win you a league.
He might win you a week.
I don't think he'll win you a week.
I think he'll win you a week.
He's the type of guy I wouldn't even look for until week 9. When the owner has used him for 9 weeks and kind of is like, he's okay, you know.
Well, you look at him, and then you go to the seasonal and drafts, and where's he going right now?
Where's Ryan Fitzpatrick going?
Oh, he's at round 14.
Yeah, that's honestly, if I'm going to create a draft, he's one of the guys I'm targeting because I think he's good enough where you want him to start all year, and he's late enough in the draft that you could just grab him. No one's looking at him. I think he's going to have a great year. For him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not going to win. He's not going to be a Kyler Murray. But I think he'll be good enough to he could start all year on your roster. He's not going to hurt you.
Maybe not every week.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to have weeks where he throws up 5 touchdowns.
He'll have like a month where the Fitzpatrick's real. And then he'll have about 2 or 3 weeks where everybody thinks, oh, he lost it. He's done. And then that's when they bring in the other quarterback. And then he's like, hey, guys, I still got it. And they bring him in to save the game. And he saves it. They're like, oh, he had it all along. It's the last season. What about Dynasty?
Dynasty, I have the same 2 in the top tier, locked in at the top tier. I have them flipped. Pat Mahomes, number 1. Kyler Murray, number 2.
Interesting. I have 3, but I have them flipped. I have Kyler Murray 1, Mahomes 2, Josh Allen 3.
I have Josh Allen 3 too, but I have him in a separate tier.
I think it might be a little early, but I think he's in that tier right now. I think that team's getting better. He's starting to build more rapport with Diggs. That offense is starting to get a little better. He's going to have some bad weeks, but his ceiling is absolutely up there with those guys.
Like I said, I have him 3rd. 3rd overall is damn high. I just have him in the tier underneath because I just don't trust that this guy went from being who he was to who he is now, and that's real. Because that move is dramatic.
Yeah.
It's not it's like a Tom Brady, honestly, where this guy came in and he, if everybody remembers, way back when he started after Bledsoe got hurt, he wasn't good. He wasn't.
At first, no.
But he got really good really fast. I don't know if that was real or luck or what. I will put him in this tier after I see it again. But I have Josh Allen 3rd, just like you. Now, Pat Mahomes, Kyler Murray, I would be totally fine if you flip-flopped them, put Kyler Murray 1st. The only reason why I put Pat Mahomes 1st is because he has year after year proven consistency. Kyler Murray is still on the upward trend.
He is, yeah, he is.
Right? So that's the only reason why I have him 2nd. They're both right there as elite.
It's close, yeah. But right there at 4, that's where I have a different tier. That's my 2nd tier. I have Russell Wilson. He's 32 years old, but I think he's just that good, and he has plenty of time left to where at least 5 years. And, I'm not looking outside of that in Dynasty, really.
I have Russell Wilson quite a bit lower, actually.
You do?
I do. In Dynasty, there's a line between age and all this. I get that. Maybe I favor age a little bit more than I should. But I have Joe Burrow. Burrow 4. He's got those weapons. He's young. He showed so much promise. He's a guy I would like to grab and have 10 years, just a guy to lock up, not worry on my roster ever again. I got that position settled, and I think he can be a top 5 for the next 10 years. He has
that potential, absolutely. I have him at 9 in Dynasty, at the bottom of that 2nd tier. But after that injury, I need to see more because, once it was only 1 year, it was half a year. I got to see more before I move him up higher above guys like Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, even Deshaun Watson. I have him at 5. Yeah, he has question marks this year, but long term, he's still only 25, 26 years old almost. He has a lot left in the tank still, I think, and he can actually throw the ball and run.
Yeah, we'll get to Deshaun Watson. I have Dak Prescott 5th. I have him 5th under Joe Burrow because, he's on a team that has traditionally always produced to the quarterback. He's got a shit ton of weapons.
He does have weapons.
Right? And
for at least one more year.
He was on pace last year to throw for more yards and more touchdowns than anyone else in the league has ever done in a season. So I know his ability is there.
Yeah.
The only reason why he's this low is because he fucked his leg up pretty hard too.
He did.
And that team is kind of on a downtrend. I still like him. I have him 5th. He's in that second tier with Josh Allen. I think these top 5, I have no problem with taking.
Yeah, I have him at 7. I mean, he could be higher, and if he could be higher. He's a veteran before, so he's not like Joe Burrow. That's why I have him above him.
My 3rd tier is where you get back to the safety net players. They're a little older. You can rely on them. Got no problem with them. But they're not a long-term, or potentially they have a smoking gun. So, in this tier, I have Matt Stafford. I think he's getting older. I like him with the Rams. I think he'll play really good this year. It's a guy you could probably flip next year. I think he's safe.
He is a safe quarterback.
7, I have Matt Ryan. Same thing. I think he's reliable. I think he's safe. He is getting older. So, I'll just run through mine real quick.
Tier 3?
Well, after that. So, Stafford, Ryan. This is where I have Aaron Rodgers. This is where I have Russell Wilson. This is where I have Lamar Jackson. Now, up until Russell Wilson, older, reliable, consistent, safe guys. Lamar Jackson gets put in here because he does run.
Mm-hmm.
He is young.
I have him in the second tier because of that.
So because he can run and he is young, I have him underneath those players, but in the same tier. Right underneath Lamar Jackson, I have Deshaun Watson. Because he's young and he can run, but I think he is a lot better. I would have him number 1 in this tier, or in the next. Actually, I'd have him in the second tier. I just don't know if he can play. I don't know if he'll ever play. I don't know if he's going to go to jail. I don't know if he's going to get shot. I have no idea what's going on with Deshaun Watson. So because of those question marks, I have him at 11. But he has potential to be, top 5.
Yeah.
And then last person in this tier, Trevor Lawrence.
All right.
I think he has potential, obviously. Everyone likes Trevor Lawrence. He's not necessarily a runner, but neither was Josh Allen. The point is, we don't know. We haven't seen him yet.
I haven't seen him.
So, I like his potential.
It's clearly a different system, though, with Urban Meyer.
But
I have Lawrence at the top of my third tier at the 10 overall. Then I have Baker, Darnold, then Aaron Rodgers, Stafford, Trey Lance, Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz. So I didn't really go with the old guys in that third tier. I went with a lot of youth and potential, mostly for Dynasty.
My 4th tier is all potential, youth potential. Locke, Herbert, Mayfield, Darnold. I think that's high for Darnold.
You think it's high for Darnold?
I think it's hard to tell.
It depends on what happens this year. I think it happens this year because, I have him 12 overall in Dynasty, which is far higher than he's ever finished.
So I have Darnold at 18. And the reason I have him at 18 is because, first of all, his ADP is going to be probably 975th overall. So I think he has potential too. I think he fits that system. I called it last year. I said, Carolina is where he should go. The Niners or Carolina. That's where he ended up going. It's Carolina.
It's a good fit.
He's reuniting with Robbie. There's a lot of things that make sense.
And people are still sleeping on Robbie.
Well, it's because of Darnold. Everybody hates the Jets.
Even if he's bad, Robbie's still good.
Everybody hates the Jets. And any Jet player that leaves the Jets and goes to a new team is still laughed at for being a Jet. Because once you're a Jet, you're always a Jet.
It's a fact.
So I think his ADP is so low, and I believe in him, but I also believe in Drew Locke.
I believe in Drew Locke. I don't really think it's a real competition with him and Teddy.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been saying this for a couple months now. I think Denver is going to be good.
They might trade for Rodgers. Apparently, they're still in the mix, from what I've heard. But that's a long shot, really.
I think Denver's going to be good.
They have the weapons there.
No. I think they're going to be good.
Yeah. I hear you. I think they're going to be good too. They have that potential. They just have to be able to reach it.
I've been talking up Javonte Williams. I've been talking up Sutton. I've been talking up this entire team because I want you
Even
to
without
understand
Sutton, they still have weapons.
that I'm putting money on Denver in Vegas. I just want to say that because I think Drew Lock's fine. I don't even want him to get Aaron Rodgers. I really don't.
Well, I mean, it'd be good for that team if they had him because, I mean, he is better than Drew Lock. I don't think Drew Lock's terrible, but Aaron Rodgers is elite.
If Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver, they might be my favorite.
They go to the Super Bowl, I think. They have not necessarily better weapons than Green Bay, but they have more.
I think they have better weapons.
Do you think they beat Devontae?
I think Devontae is good.
I think Javonte can beat Aaron Jones, but I don't think you can beat Devontae.
I think Devontae is good. I don't want to just trash all over Devontae Adams. But I think he is massively overrated because of Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, he was the number one because of Aaron Rodgers, but he's still top 10. He's like Michael Thomas. He's still going to be a top 10, top 12 receiver.
It's not that he doesn't have the ability, because he obviously does. But I think Aaron Rodgers raises his ability because of how he can throw the ball in good windows and in front of him. It's going to be hard to find a quarterback that can replace that. Number one. Number two, it's the volume. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that likes to throw two people.
He was the only guy, though,
and he's
really.
the only guy.
That's why I like Denver, because they have more weapons.
For the last 3 years, all we heard other receivers leak and other people talk about how Aaron Rodgers wouldn't like you as a person, and so he wouldn't throw it to you, even if you were open. You remember that a couple years back?
That.
Even if they were open, he wouldn't throw him the ball. That type of mentality.
They weren't going to catch it, though. That's why.
I understand, but that type of mentality meant he force-fed Devontae.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
I think if Devontae doesn't follow him, that's why I think Aaron Rodgers will play for Green Bay this year. Because I think Aaron Rodgers wants Devontae Adams. So when he leaves Packers, he's going to take Devontae.
Possibly.
If he doesn't, I think Devontae is a lot worse in fantasy. A lot. I mean,
going to Jordan Love, that is a huge difference.
Yes. I don't know why we're talking about receivers in a quarterback thing, but I just thought it was relevant.